classes that I've taught over the years at vocational schools or at high schools for the PA Motor Vehicle Safety Inspection certification. So let's jump right in here today. We're up to module number 13. Today we're back into publication 45. This is the Vehicle Equipment Inspection Regulation, dated 11/17. So we are in subchapter E. So subchapter E, if you get into subchapter E, we're up to page 35. Why do I cite at 35 instead of the beginning? It's very important. We're dealing with inspection procedure. The first half of subchapter E has to do with equipment regulations. For example, exhaust noise. We do not reject a vehicle for safety inspection for exhaust noise. So if it's too loud or gutted muffler, we do not fail that for safety inspection. When we inspect a vehicle, we utilize the inspection procedure section, which is the back half of the subchapter. Very important to remember that. Again, don't fail a vehicle for the required equipment. Fail it for or reject it for the inspection procedure section. So subchapter E has to deal with passenger cars, trucks 11,000 pounds or under. Passenger cars could be over 11,000 pounds. The H1 Hummer right now, I've seen it 12,000 GVW. It's a passenger car plate. So it's over 11. As far as trucks that are 11,000 pounds, registered gross vehicle weight or under are part of this subchapter. Don't get this confused with your category 1 inspection card. Okay? Subchapter E has to do with the vehicle. The categories have to do with the mechanic. Okay, so don't get those confused. Again, remember the procedure. So, what we're going to cover today, I've got 4 topics I want to talk about. Bulletins, great reference material, April 14, May 2001, and April 2002 that I'm going to refer to. Also, I have a fact sheet on insurance law from July of 17. All this information is available on the Department of Motor Vehicle website under Business Partners, under Bulletins. I believe the bulletins go back to about 2000. If you need the older ones, they're great information, especially if you get in front of the district judges now, the DJ, because that's where all the complaints are going to for inspection mechanics. Great information. If you need to get the older ones, contact me at SERIUSAUTOTRAINING@yahoo.com. Follow me on LinkedIn or YouTube. So let's jump right into here. Subchapter E talks about proof of ownership. So, the first thing when you inspect a vehicle in Pennsylvania is to verify ownership. 99% of the time, you're going to see these. You will see a PA registration card, and you'll see a PA insurance card. So, a couple of important pieces of information about a registration card. Make sure it's signed. If it is not signed, make sure that the owner could sign it with his ID in front of you. Very important. It's going to be a covert quality assurance officer that's presenting the card. If they don't have it signed, tell them to come back with it signed. If there's more than one person on that registration card, you only need one signature. And it could be photocopied. Make sure it's valid. It's valid till the last day. So 9 of 19, I could inspect this car, 9 of 19 with this registration card. So, as long as we're talking about reg card, let's talk about insurance card. Now, PA insurance card, right here with the expiration date of 9/21. What's very important to remember is this insurance card for that vehicle. Remember, it's for the vehicle, it's not for the person. So verify the VIN. That card expires on the 20th. So that is today. So I can only inspect this car with this card up until close of business today. So on the 21st, it's game over. New card. Okay? Great information. So 99% of the time, that's what you will see. The problem is, it's the other 1%. You could be a mechanic first day on a job. You need to be aware of this because you're the one that's signing that inspection sticker. So it's very critical that you are aware of these laws. So let's start here. Salvage title. I don't have a copy of a salvage title here, but Pennsylvania, a salvage title will get you nothing. So if you have a PA salvage title, it looks just like a regular title except it's pink. It may say certificate of junk, certificate of salvage, but what's real important to remember is those cannot be used for proof of ownership. If they come anywhere near your shop with that and you're not an enhanced inspection station, get it away from you. It's not proof of ownership for the purpose of subchapter E. So repair towing plates. This is another plate that's a miscellaneous motor vehicle transferable plate. The problem with these plates is you have to prove ownership. These will allow you to drive the vehicle for the purpose of the road test. But for the salvage, or it could be a repair towing plate for that. It could be or a salver plate, a repair towing plate. You need to verify ownership. So where do you verify ownership? Well, you can verify ownership right here with a PA title. Could you use an out-of-state title? Sure, why not, if it's legal. And that brings us to number 2 here. For legality, everything you do has to be legal. So where does that put you? Title 67 is about this big. So you need to be aware of all this. Remember, it's that 1%. So, cardboard plate. In Pennsylvania, proof of ownership cannot be presented through a cardboard plate. Cardboard plates in PA are issued with an MV120 form. It's a pink slip that the customer will carry. They put this plate on the car and they go out of state and sell the car. So if they decide to stop at your place on the way out of state, get an inspection with that, can't happen. Internet renewals, that's a bulletin that I have here, and I'm just going to read out the bulletin for you. Internet renewals, let's see where we're at. April 2002, 10 days on an internet renewal, and you can't charge a fee for the customer to use your computer, but you can charge a fee for them to use your computer. Usually today people have a phone, but you can not charge for processing their application, if that makes sense to you. So bulletin all the way back to May of 2001 and April 2002 with internet renewals. Okay, you can't use proof of ownership through a phone. Not in Pennsylvania, they didn't pass the bill. But you can use proof of insurance for a phone. It's right here, April 2014. The owner of the electronic device assumes liability for any damage to the device containing the financial responsibility ID card while in possession of the police officer or agent department. So they could use a phone to show you the policy. Great. Really good. Everything's on a phone today. So, internet renewals, MV1. Let's talk about MV1 for proof of ownership. The problem with the 1% is it's the customer that's coming in with their own plate and a vehicle. So their own plate could be a dealer plate, repair towing plate, a salver plate. So you need to be fully aware of these scenarios. So let's talk about this a little bit more. An MV1. Here's a white photocopy of an MV1. You would see this in a pink slip form. An MV1 is proof of ownership. And it's for an out-of-state vehicle that's being transferred, titled to Pennsylvania, or for an MCO, which is a manufacturer's certificate of origin, or which I call birth certificate. So for those, if a customer comes in with an MV1 and wants an inspection, absolutely you can inspect this vehicle with that pink slip, because they're going to have a plate for you. So they'll usually have a temporary registration plate, which is good for 90 days on the vehicle. Just make sure that the plate, the sticker for the plate, is the same plate that's on the MV1. Make sure it's notarized. And make sure this information on here is not the information that you use on your MV431 booklet. You need an insurance ID card. This is not proof of insurance. Okay? So some just real good information here on an MV1. MV4 is similar. That's a proof of ownership application for a title for a PA vehicle. Okay, so MV1, MV4. Registration card, MSO. So again, if a customer comes into you, used car plate, used car dealer, brings you one of these Jeeps that they bought at the auction or at the farm show. He'll come in with a certificate of origin, birth certificate for the vehicle, plate on the vehicle. Now they come down to your station. Please inspect this. Here's my plate. Here's proof of ownership, the MSO. No problem. But the MSO, the certificate of origin, because it hasn't been titled yet, it reads on it not for highway use. Well, if it says that, get it out of there. You're not inspecting it. Okay? So just some things here that you may see. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, please be aware of them. Legality, again, everything's got to be legal. Whether it's signed, proof of ownership has to be documented, okay? If you have any questions, you can make some calls about this. Call the quality assurance guy. Okay, don't be real quick to put a sticker on something that you run into these scenarios. So let's go down here to financial responsibility. We have a fact sheet here. Again, July 17. 9 chances out of 10, you're going to see an ID card. Just like I said, make sure it's valid for the day. Self-insurance ID card. This is for like Walmart. Companies have huge amounts of vehicles with lots of money. Here's an example of a self-insurance ID card. Those stations may have their own facility, but hey, guess what? They may be suspended, so now they're bringing their vehicles to you. So hey, you may see that self-insurance ID card. The fact sheet gives you great examples of some proof of ownership. The one that I don't see here on here is for a farm vehicle. So a farm vehicle, if you're inspecting a farm vehicle, they do get inspected. You can use proof of liability from the farm. So I don't see that listed on here, but here's some great examples of insurance for Pennsylvania. So let's continue on here. We talked about the financial responsibility fact sheet, the different scenarios, the VIN. So according to subchapter E, if the person comes to you and their registration card or their VIN is not in agreement with the proof of ownership, it says that there's forms that you could submit. Well, absolutely. You could fill out an MV41 or an MV44. Now, the problem is the 44 has got to be notarized. Once it's notarized, you can't photocopy it and lose it as legality. So these forms have to be submitted to the state. This is very tricky because once they're submitted and proved, now the customer could commit to you for an inspection. So, legality, hey, could they give you a paper saying, hey, I've completed this? Could they give you another one that's been signed and you keep it as proof of ownership? That's up to you. I'm just here to tell you the MV41 and the MV44 are the two forms in subchapter E to show the correction has been made for the VIN or the registration plate for the vehicle. Okay? So moving right around here, let's look at one last thing here. We talked about the bulletins. We're almost done here on our quick 15-minute YouTube video down here in beautiful Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. I hear the bikes out there roaring today. I'm going to go out and start looking at everything because I'm the inspection freak. So I love vehicle inspections. I love vehicles in Pennsylvania. We were the first state, one of the first 3 in 1929 to start an inspection program, and we'll probably be the last. So let's just talk about what we went through already here. We talked about subchapter E, the beginning, inspection procedure. Remember, you can only reject for inspection procedure section of the manual, not required equipment. Proof of ownership, 9 chances out of 10 it's going to be the reg card and the insurance card. But hey, it could end up being one of these transferable plates, and who knows what they're giving you. There's a reason they're coming to you. Okay? Don't inspect it with a cardboard plate. The internet renewal is good for 15 days. Talked about the MV1, the MV4, and the MSO. Make sure it reads. Does not read, not for highway use. We went over the fact sheet. Again, I still haven't got an answer from PennDOT for the farm vehicles. Farm vehicles do get inspected. Don't confuse a farm vehicle with an implement of husbandry. They're 2 different things. Okay? We talked about the MV41, MV44. Don't get confused on the category 1, which is not what subchapter E refers to. And again, the bulletins I talked about today. So, have a wonderful Easter weekend here down in Southeast Pennsylvania. Again, my name's Terry Rooch. This is Serious Automotive Training. Any questions, email me, seriousautotRaining@yahoo.com. LinkedIn, follow me at Terry Rooch, or just give me a shout out on YouTube. Again, have a great holiday weekend, and we'll see you for next subchapter E.